As the 8 musicians of the Vienna Supreme Orchestra launched into the mellifluous strains of Edelweiss from the Sound of Music, and the ballet dancers began to move with balletic grace, the historic Palais Eschenbach seemed to exhale the very spirit of Vienna. In that moment, melody and harmony did more than fill the room, they took quiet possession of our souls. I recalled my father's wisdom, that music transcends the boundaries of time and space, yet it is always up to the listener to decide how deeply to surrender to it. That autumn evening, the choice was effortless. Surrounded by precious wood paneling, ornate tapestries, and coffered ceilings, I felt the raw power of pure music, art that requires no amplifiers or modern gadgets to resonate. In the perfect acoustics of the hall, we weren't just tourists in a capital city, we were guests at an intimate 19th century soirée. The journey began on a dark, rain-laden late October morning in Calcutta. Our Emirates flight climbed into dense, brooding clouds, encountering a spell of turbulence before breaking through into clear blue skies, where gentle columns of white clouds welcomed us. After nearly 4 hours in the air, the aircraft began its descent, revealing the desert expanse below, etched with highways, rising skyscrapers, and the unmistakable vertical skyline of Dubai. A comfortable interlude followed at the Dubai International Airport lounge before we boarded our onward flight, a longer leg of about 6 hours. The route traced a northwest arc across the Arabian Gulf, over Iraq and Turkey, and onward through Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary before finally reaching Vienna. As the aircraft descended toward Vienna International Airport, the city shimmered beneath us in a soft, tranquil glow, dreamlike in its quiet elegance. By the time we cleared immigration and stepped into a cab, Vienna's roads were hushed and almost empty, lending the night an unexpected calm. The drive took us to our Airbnb in the Favoriten district, where the street lay cloaked in near darkness, illuminated only by a few muted street lamps. As I dialed the number to unlock the building's main door, a solitary maple tree, resplendent in autumn color, released a handful of leaves onto my shoulder, as if offering a gentle welcome. The city wakes early, and I stepped out to a nearby store to pick up breakfast. It was a beautiful morning, with a clear blue sky and a gentle sun that made everything feel welcoming. The store had a coffee machine, much needed, and a good selection of breakfast items, just what we needed to start the day. After breakfast, it was time to step out into the city. For my wife and daughter, it was their first time on foreign soil, and everything around us felt fresh, unfamiliar, and quietly exhilarating. It took us a little while to understand the transport system, but we were soon impressed by its remarkable efficiency. Vienna's public transport runs like a well-rehearsed symphony, trams and city buses gliding effortlessly through the streets, and to our greatest surprise, not a ticket checker in sight. We had collected our travel passes at the airport, but figuring out how to use them required a bit of assistance. A kind young Afghan gentleman guided us to Remannplatz metro station and patiently explained the process. The train carried us to Stephansplatz, the true heart of Vienna. This historic square takes its name from its towering centerpiece, the magnificent Stephansdom, or St. Stephen's Cathedral. A lively meeting point for tourists and locals alike. The square buzzed with energy, shops, cafes, street performers, and curious wanderers filled the space. It felt like the perfect starting point to explore the city's historic center and cultural soul. We purchased the Wien City Cards, which opened doors to attractions, museums, and art galleries, and soon found ourselves wandering through Vienna's streets, lanes, and hidden by lanes, absorbing the city's essence step by step. Just across the street stood the nearly 250-year-old Albertina Museum, renowned for housing one of the largest and most important graphic art collections in the world. With nearly 1 million prints and over 65,000 drawings, from the late Gothic period to the present, the Albertina is also home to richly decorated Habsburg staterooms within the palace itself. Masterpieces by artists such as Monet, Albrecht Dürer, Michelangelo, Rembrandt, Rubens, Pablo Picasso, and Vincent van Gogh line its walls. I was especially moved by the monumental, wall-sized charcoal drawings of Robert Longo, whose intensity lingered long after we left the gallery. Opposite the Albertina Museum unfolds Albertinaplatz, a lively square anchored by the iconic Café Mozart and the refined elegance of Hotel Sacher. Framed by the rear facade of the Vienna State Opera, the solemn memorial against war and fascism, and the unhurried rhythm of horse-drawn carriages, the square feels like a meeting point of history, art, and everyday life. Standing there was like observing a single wavelength of time stretching effortlessly across centuries. By midday, we found ourselves before one of the world's most prestigious opera houses and a cornerstone of Vienna's cultural identity, the Vienna State Opera House, or Wiener Staatsoper as it is known locally. Opened in 1869 with Mozart's Don Giovanni, the opera house quickly earned its place among the city's most admired landmarks. Severely damaged during World War II, it was later painstakingly restored and reopened in 1955, emerging as a powerful symbol of Europe's cultural revival. As we continued our walk along the Grand Ringstrasse, we passed several other concert halls and cultural institutions. The realization that legendary masters, Mozart, Beethoven, Verdi, Wagner, and Strauss, had once performed and conducted in these very spaces was deeply stirring. After a 10-minute walk, we reached Michaelerplatz, the northwest entrance to the Hofburg Palace. Standing there felt like being surrounded by 4 different eras at once: Roman foundations beneath our feet, medieval faith close by, imperial grandeur rising ahead, and modern Vienna flowing effortlessly all around. The Hofburg Palace stands at the very heart of Vienna, a place where centuries of imperial history seem to overlap and breathe together. Once the winter residence of the mighty Habsburg emperors, the palace grew steadily over more than 600 years, evolving into a magnificent tapestry of architectural styles, Gothic foundations merging seamlessly with Renaissance elegance, Baroque grandeur, Rococo refinement, and neoclassical restraint. Tucked within this grand palace complex is the Sissi Museum, devoted to the life of Empress Elizabeth of Austria, fondly remembered as Sissi. One of Europe's most intriguing royal figures, Sissi was celebrated for her striking beauty and fiercely independent spirit, yet she remained deeply uncomfortable within the rigid confines of court life. Burdened by imperial expectations, she sought escape through travel and solitude, constantly yearning for personal freedom. The museum goes beyond the glittering facade of royalty, offering a thoughtful and intimate portrait of the woman behind the crown. After hustling through few places of interest, we finally arrived at the banks of River Danube for a pre-planned cruise. Literally, we had to run to be on time for the journey. Cruising along the Danube River is one of Vienna's most enchanting ways to experience the city from a fresh and unhurried perspective. The river's calm waters seem to carry the weight of centuries, bearing silent witness to countless cultural, social, and human stories. As one of Europe's great rivers, the Danube winds gracefully through 10 countries, flowing past legendary cities such as Vienna, Bratislava, and Budapest, its broad blue expanse inspiring artists, composers, and storytellers for generations. As evening gently settled over the river, the soft strains of Ivanovich's Waves of the Danube floated through the sound system, perfectly attuned to the hour. Seated on the deck, a cool breeze on our faces and a cup of rich Viennese roast coffee in hand, the moment unfolded into something effortlessly romantic and deeply enchanting. After nearly an hour and a half, the cruise gently returned us to where the journey had begun. The city seemed to breathe alongside us, tram bells fading into the distance, cafes glowing behind glass windows, and concert halls filling with elegantly dressed crowds. Back at our Airbnb, we set aside our bags and our tiredness, carrying with us a quiet sense of gratitude for a day beautifully spent and a city that had revealed itself with such grace.